Hey guys, we have an awesome AMA today. This is Weil with DEXT Force Ventures. Can you guys introduce who you are, who we have the pleasure of speaking with today?
Hey, Weil, this is Swaneet here. I'm the CEO of Xfinite, my background is predominantly from TradFi. So I, grew up in an investment bank, basically, Goldman Sachs, and then I left there around 2015. And joined a family office, subsequently started Xfinite.
Okay, wow.
Awesome. I'll go next. I'm Santosh, glad to introduce myself to the community. I am the Chief Ecosystem Officer at Xfinite. At Xfinite, I connect the product business models back to the token economy. My backgrounds, I moved from venture capital to blockchain in 2016. Prior to that, I had a chance to work with different VC firms, and I built communities, scaled a community into a VC fund as well before blockchain. Moved to blockchain around early Ethereum times, contributed to some of the early ERC20 projects, and then later on ran an engineering team, which became one of the core contributors to Cosmos ecosystem. And I'm very excited about Xfinite, as I've joined the team at a time when the crypto ecosystem started moving from developer protocols to projects and networks building for mainstream users. And that's why Xfinite is super exciting to me. Super happy to introduce about how I'm looking at Xfinite and talk a little bit more about the project and how to get the community involved.
Awesome. So can you guys explain what Xfinite is and what are you guys hoping to achieve?
Okay, so Xfinite is the decentralized entertainment ecosystem. We're one of the largest projects built on top of Algorand in terms of users. What we're looking to achieve is a similar trend to what was happening in play to earn in gaming. We realize the content ecosystem needs an upgrade in terms of business model, especially a Web3 native business model. We've actually tested this way before play to earn became a thing, in a sense. So we started actually our journey in 2018 with a product, unlike most token projects which started with a token. Probably I think Swaneet will be a great person to talk about this journey of how we started as Mazalo, the product, and then scaled to Xfinite, the ecosystem.
Okay, awesome.
So
yeah,
Swaneet,
sure.
over to you.
Sure. So effectively, it was around 2017, 2018 was when I was working for a family office. And one of the biggest assets of the family office was a movie production company that ran its own OTT platform, which basically means over the top in streaming language. And what we found was it was operating predominantly in South Asia. What we found was that the economy there was extremely price sensitive. And so the model, which was basically an SVOD model, subscription video on demand. So just taking one step back, and I'm sorry if this is lengthy, but I'm just going to go a little bit deep into this. There's two or three types of models, right? You have the subscription video on demand model, which is one side, which is what effectively Netflix does really well. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet of content. You pay a subscription fee per month, and that's what it is. And on the other side of the spectrum, you have AVOD, which is basically an advertising video on demand model. YouTube does this very successfully. But the challenge there is that most of the content on YouTube is quite user-generated content. Yeah. In the middle somewhere, you have TVOD, which is transaction video on demand, right? I think you can sort of equate this to similar to what iTunes was back in the day, right? You had people trying to buy music. And I think that TVOD from a video perspective made it very frictional for the customer. And you can see that because Apple's actually transitioned from a iTunes model to an Apple Music model, which is basically SVOD, right? Like Spotify style. And so in a market where there's a fairly low income diaspora, I think that the economy is extremely price sensitive. And what we noticed was people were flirting with the platform, but then not jumping over the paywall. We just, it was around 2017, 2018, when I started observing, what was happening in the crypto market back then, while I'm sure you were also part of it. So, we discovered that, we thought, hey, let's implement a model that kind of, were to incentivize the community. So it would sort of be a hybrid of YouTube, in the sense that it would democratize the availability of content to anyone, anywhere, anytime. But at the same time, it would have premium content instead of user-generated content, right? Or even professionally generated content would be fine. And so what we did was we actually launched. We started building Mazzalo. We launched it last year. We've got about 6 million registered users already with zero marketing. Around 10-15% of those are actives, monthly active users. The product is live, so you can actually download it on iOS, Play Store. It's available on web as well. Yeah. And effectively what it does is it incentivizes you for engagement. Yeah. So we've built an engagement algorithm where it's almost like, as Santosh mentioned, it's like a play to earn model, but in streaming. And the way it works is the engagement algorithm basically allows the user to focus on engagement-based rewards, and you're tokenizing engagement effectively and building transparency, because, I mean, I think advertisers and brands deserve that today. They don't, I think the element of pre-rolls, mid-rolls is kind of archaic. Yeah. And so if you're able to deliver a superior experience to a customer, and also in a market where there's a lot of non-native crypto, right? I always feel, I feel this is really funny because, and I love crypto so much, I feel like we as a community start to build products for native crypto customers, but we forget about the non-native crypto customers, which are actually like a huge part of the market. And that's really what we're trying to do at Xfinite, right? We're building a very user-friendly environment. Like if I tell my dad, hey dad, use Uniswap today, he's going to have no clue on how to use it. And so that's really what we wanted to build. We really urge you to download it, look at the quality of the application. If you get a chance, actually, you should try and VPN it to India, so you can see we've got around 800 reward partners on there. These can, they range from anywhere from McDonald's, KFC, where the more coins you earn on the app, you can actually redeem them for goods and services on the app. So it sort of becomes gamified in a sense. Sorry for taking it. I can speak about this for.
I have a few questions about that. So I love that you guys are bringing allowing the public, like onboarding the masses, just like the play to earn model is. Like, why are people going to play games when they're not getting paid for it, when they can play games that are going to pay them to play? So I think that we are seeing a disruption even in the entertainment field, where people are now going to get paid to view, to make content and things like that. How do you think that will change companies like YouTube and content platforms right now? Do you see that shifting, where we'll see Web3 platforms and like decentralized applications take over, or do you think YouTube will still monopolize the entertainment section?
Santosh, maybe I'll give my thoughts first, and then you can chime in with yours. So what I feel, Santosh is laughing because he knows that I feel pretty strongly about this. What I feel is that as we move from a Web 2.0 to a Web 3.0 world, I feel like a lot of companies who've built these walled gardens around will struggle to maintain themselves. I'm not denying the fact that all these companies are extremely innovative in the way that they operate, and maybe they will transition their model to become more and more decentralized over time. But I think that that whole notion about not dispersing value is actually going to backfire in a sense. So especially when you're trying to build a model like this, where you need to reach a certain point where it basically becomes sustainable to operate, because content is expensive, right? And so how do you get how do you get to a point, a sustainable point, where you're actually earning enough from advertising and innovative advertising, and delivering that value back into the community, right? And then the community is actually choosing what content they like and what to watch on there, right? And when you're able to do this in a very seamless, automated fashion, that's really when things will start to get really, really interesting. And it takes time to build these type of networks, right? It doesn't happen overnight. And so, again, coming back to it, I think that any company, okay, let me just put it like this. The ones who disperse in the metaverse or Web 3.0, whatever you want to call it, the companies or the networks that spread value across will be left with the most, and the ones that try and hold it will be left with the least, right? That's my belief.
I couldn't agree more, honestly. I couldn't agree more with you. Yeah. Did you want to?
Santosh, I resonate with it. I'm a little more crypto native. I have a little more crypto native perspective to it, because I'm always thinking like that. It may, whether it happens or not is a different thing. My hypothesis is today you have platforms and you have users, right? So these platforms don't have any value until these users actually come and add value to them. That means essentially these users give data. They're building entire value on a rented piece of land, right? Which is a platform. They neither have ownership nor governance in these platforms, which is why I have a bull case for all Web3 networks, because I think Web3 networks think differently about users, right? They're user first. And I'll apply that back to the content ecosystem as well. Today, I think the largest content platforms today have actually got that monopoly of these largest content studios. They've kind of disrupted that studio or production model and got the video on demand kind of model, right? And they kind of became the middlemen, gatekeepers of all of this. And in a way, they became like the production studios, but in a different way, because everything is digital here. And I think we are going to see a different model of disruption from such models like Netflix or YouTube to Web3 native networks attempting to do this. Of course, it's going to be a journey. It won't happen overnight. It can also mean that Web2 platforms also can upgrade to Web3 models. But it's a very, very interesting game. And Xfinite, I think, has started with that approach that basically, I think user time is a very, very valuable asset to us, especially as a network. And we would like to incentivize our users back for the time they spent on the network. That's how Mazalo actually started. And then we've actually decided to decentralize the value we've created. So in 3 years, as Swaneet mentioned, Mazalo actually created a ton of value. I think we are closing down on the 6 mil registered user mark. And then we have over 800 odd reward partners. I think today live, maybe correct me, Swaneet, we have 6,000 to 7,000 premium movies live on the platform. We have access to a lot more. We are partnered with some of the largest production studios in the space. And this is the value we've created over 3 years, right? And then in 2021, we've decided whatever value we've created, we should go not only down the path of rewarding users, we want to decentralize the value we've created. And we've launched a token, which is XET, standing for Xfinite Entertainment Token. And the whole purpose is to take on the next phase of our journey to actually progressively decentralize the value we've accumulated so far through XET.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask the Mazar app, like, what is the native token for rewarding people? Because it isn't XET. So are you guys using another token?
Yeah, it should. So let's get into that, right? So we closed. We raised equity in 2019,
Yeah.
and the government, the Reserve Bank of India, which is basically the Fed, like equivalent to the Federal Reserve of India, banned the banking of crypto in 2019. So this is one of the happy accidents, as I like to call it, right? So we actually pivoted the model, and we thought, oh damn, so our token idea just basically goes down the drain because we won't be able to implement it. And we hired some really good people from the likes of MasterCard, Amex, etc., who have experience in building these loyalty programs, and that's how we built this catalog of in reward partners. And then at the same time, we joined an industry body in India called the Internet and Mobile Association of India, IAMAI, where we sit in the blockchain assets and crypto committee. And so we kind of championed for the idea that, hey, crypto should be made legal in India. And as a first, one of the first few times that actually the Supreme Court overturned the decision of RBI in 2020, and we really started to focus on, hey, how do we bring our token back into this model, right? And so this is where it gets interesting, right? So you want a balance between the token design so that it has the ability to make sure that you don't have a risk when or if things may get ugly depending on regulatory factors, right? So what we've done, we've actually ring-fenced the product over another token called MZAA, Maza tokens, and we internally have designed a system, and we're really working hard on this design to implement it within the next 3 months. Where there's a ratio, I can give glimpses of how we're thinking about this, and please bear, please don't quote me or whatever it is, even though it's to your community. We're really thinking hard about the token design because we want to make sure that it's foolproof, and so there might be a ratio between Maza coins and XCT that basically you can convert certain amount of Mazas into XCT, and that's when things get really interesting. Because there's features within Mazalo, right, where you can, for instance, bid and win, right? With the coins that you earn on the platform, you can bid and win for exclusive movie merchandise or electronic goods, cashback cards, or even meeting with celebrities and influencers. And so not an outgoing mechanism, it's also an incoming mechanism. But apart from that, we're also sort of our beta version of our NFT marketplace is live because we've got this content license from one of the largest Indian content studios. We also own the NFT rights, right? And so we built a platform called www.mazalonft.com where you can actually, it's a marketplace, which will be able to buy NFTs using XET. And so then ties back, NFT entertainment. And we, where we're actually going with this is we really envision a world where NFTs will be interoperable between entertainment ecosystems, right? And sorry, again, bear with me because I can speak about this forever. But what you'd be able to do is, and I'm just going to give very quirky examples. Imagine you're watching Star Wars, right? You should be able to take the lightsaber out of Star Wars and put it in your Fortnite game. Click on the lightsaber, it goes into your wallet. You can transfer it into your Fortnite game. Okay, and let me give you another example. You're watching an Indian movie and you like one of the dances, right? Because we have a lot of music in Indian movies, right? Let's say you like this dance and you can click on it and that dance actually goes into your wallet. And then you can actually take that. And when you score a goal in FIFA, you can celebrate using that dance, right? I'm just giving hypothetical example of what we're working towards.
Very exciting stuff. So you mentioned Xfinite was one of the most popular coins on Algorand. I wanted to ask, why did you guys choose Algorand instead of other popular blockchains?
Yeah. So I can take this as well, Santosh, if you're cool and you can add to it. So maybe you didn't even need to come for this AMA. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So if effectively, so why Algorand? We actually went through a 4-month evaluation process where we evaluated, and this is in 2020, where we evaluated a bunch of chains and protocols. And what we found was, for our use case, Algorand turned out to be quite scalable for us, right? And so, if you look at the TPS, the throughput, it's really fantastic. And then, we developed a relationship with the senior management there. We've got an account manager there. So I think, the Algorand ecosystem is fairly nascent, I would say. And so it's a very growing and a very vibrant ecosystem. And really, what we liked about the teams there was that they operated in sort of, a very decentralized way, but a very professionally decentralized way. And so, we really enjoyed that about them. We really enjoyed their vision. It kind of matched with our own. And they actually came into our round as well, our token round, and they're very big supporters of us, both Algorand Inc. as well as Borderless Capital. So really have a pretty good relationship with them. And Santosh, I don't know if you want to add more.
Yeah, definitely. I think we also love the projects in Algorand. There's a great synergetic collaboration between other projects. We've started a staking pool on top of Ely, one of the upcoming projects on Algorand. If you can notice, I think we got like close to 10% of our circulating supply, which just got staked. So it was like an experiment. We will scale. I'll talk a little bit about how all these experiments will scale. But just coming to Algorand, I think it's a very, very nice ecosystem. We have great projects to talk to. At the same time, I think another crypto native answer for this would be pure proof of stake is also a very exciting model to look at, because we're moving. I mean, we're all talking about proof of stake, and there are various delegated proof of stake or bonded proof of stake like ecosystems. But there's also a talk about, as we move into a proof of stake like environment, philosophically, we're also going to a rich gets richer kind of a model, right? So what Algorand came and told is we're testing a pure proof of stake where it doesn't matter how much you have to stake, you have a chance to participate in the network in a sort of a democratic way, right? So it made sense when you're looking to build a product for mass adoption to build on a blockchain which kind of resonates with it, right? So that's one of the reasons also to go with Algorand. But yeah, so far the journey is super exciting for us.
Awesome. I mean, it's the first token I own on Algorand, so I'm happy that I got to use the technology, and now I own both tokens, and I'm actually going to be staking my Xfinite tokens for the long term. So now I have some questions from the community talking about the vesting and the pricing and things like that. So as you guys know, early investors, supporters, they get, vesting schedules that they're tied to. So the first vesting release, there are some hiccups. Could you guys go into why potentially the tokens got delayed?
Yeah, I can take that. So yeah, I think the designed unlocking schedule is just to revise, whoever participated in token sale has a vesting schedule of 3-month, 6-month, and subsequently a 1-year unlocking model. The first unlock happened on December 16th. Prior to that, we were in touch with every single investor to actually get their unlocked tokens. Community participants or community funds like DEXTools were a little different because you often have one single investor who signs the SAFT with the project. And from a compliant perspective, we're actually supposed to just give allocation to one wallet, and then community funds distribute among themselves. We had another participant as well, I think to quote them, it's called Black Dragon. They were also like a community fund. They were in touch with us before the unlock. Somehow the conversation with DEXTools got delayed, and we ended up creating a Telegram group with the community on December 17th, one day after the unlock.
With the new and there was a new DEXTools committee, so
there was a delay. However, it happens sometime. In fact, we'll figure out a way to not have such delays in the next unlock. That being said, from there we were in touch with the DEXTools community. It also took them a little bit of time to actually accumulate all these wallets. And since I think, as you mentioned, this is one of the first Algorand tokens for your community as well, there's another step which is also involved to actually process an automated unlock. That is, you have to opt into an asset. So first you have to create a non-custodial wallet, like which is on Algorand, it's a MyAlgo wallet equivalent to MetaMask. My guess would be most of them didn't have that first, because it could be their first Algorand standard asset. And then there's a next step, which is to have XCT opted in, and we'll have to check with all these wallets. I think some of the DEXTools wallets are still not fully opted in from the community, and it took them a little bit of time to actually get that in place. And the team was quite supportive actually in the Telegram group. We communicate on a daily basis. So far we've processed, I think there are still few wallets which still didn't get the tokens because they haven't opted in. But the team did a fabulous job in collating, because I'm looking at it on a daily basis in real time. The wallets have been increasing. So it took us a little bit of time to get this, but probably since this is the first time, maybe delays happen, but this will be a one-time exercise. Once this is done, we will work with the community to figure out a way to not repeat this for the next unlock. We from Xfinite point of view, will ensure it'll be more smoother for the next time.
Awesome. I mean, at first the community was in the dark, and now it makes sense. Like, you guys had to send them to over 200 people. You had to verify wallets. It was the holidays. Stuff happens, and you guys picked it up, and now everybody has their tokens. So it is what it is. Let's move on. So when Xfinite launched, the pricing on MEXC was pretty stable. It almost looked like a stable coin. So right before the release of the tokens, the MEX exchange, they stopped all deposits, and then we saw like selling down in the price. So do you have any explanations for any of that stuff? Like, did you guys request that the exchange stop deposits, or was that just like bad timing?
No, first of all, just to state facts, I think this happened 2 to 3 days after the unlock, not on the unlock, because I'm pretty sure about that. So just like, see, at the end of the day, just like any early tokens face sell pressure in the start, and that happens. At the end of the day, you got to look at projects with a more long-term approach, and the biggest events in Xfinite ecosystem are yet to come. Like Swaneeth mentioned, we're going to connect the token back to our product suite. Today, if you look at our Algo Explorer, we have 34,000 non-custodial user wallets. Soon over time, that will go on to hundreds of thousands to even millions as we scale. That being said, there was a lot of sell pressure for a brief moment of time, as it was our first unlock, that too in December, probably pre-holiday sell pressure for community. But whatever is the reason, I think MEXC pointed out to us that they've paused the deposit, they've stopped the deposits. We actually didn't even know about it until our community complained about it in the community group. We reached out to them. The MEXC team also is quite responsive, just that we live in different time zones. It took them a day to respond on this thing, and I think it took them a while to unlock the deposits on MEXC. At that point, the challenges of a centralized exchange there.
Yeah.
However, at this point, we were also live on Tinyman and
Yeah.
Bitmart. And subsequently, MEXC deposits actually started. I think currently everything is running smoothly.
Okay.
Just to also clarify, as a project, we don't control any exchange. Exchanges work as exchanges, and we are projects. And if only projects can control exchanges, I think we'll have a very different crypto world, right? So,
Yeah. Okay, and the next question is the liquidity being pulled from Tinyman. Can you explain what happened there as well?
Yeah, I remember very vividly because I had just come out of, I was on holiday. I had just come out. My phone was blowing up. I looked at my phone and there was a hack on Tinyman, and so Tinyman's published a statement. You can please, we have posted it in our community. The moment we saw the hack, to protect ourselves as a project, we withdrew all liquidity. In fact, the founders of Tinyman contacted us as well, saying, we're asking everybody to pull our liquidity, and we'll be back up in no time. Blah 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 blah. They've also announced that they will compensate everybody for any losses that they incurred. However, for our pool, XCT Algo, XCT Yieldy, there was no loss because the hackers targeted, the Go BTC pools and the Go ETH pools. So effectively, I think those two were the main affected ones. And there wasn't much loss, but I think Tinyman handled the situation quite well. We even offered, a bunch of us Algorand projects offered a bounty to them as well. But I think they're handling it pretty well. And the good news is that it'll be back up in about 2 weeks, maybe fingers crossed. And then we will add liquidity to that, and hopefully the community will add liquidity to that. I think the returns are relatively lucrative depending on how you look at it. So you can actually add liquidity on both sides of there's several pools there, but you can add liquidity on both sides and actually earn fees on the trading activity. So should be back up, and you should see that going in. So hopefully the community can support us in getting Tinyman back up, because it is the only DEX on Algorand ecosystem today. There will be more DEXs in the future. So I think Algorand is working on an Algo DEX.
Okay, now we got all that out of the way. Let's get back to Xfinite and your mission. Now that more holders have their tokens, what is some of the utility and why should some of these holders, keep holding Xfinite and stake it?
okay, I'll take that. So to start with, Xfinite is in the mission of creating a decentralized entertainment ecosystem. We are going to make our initial experiments to connect our token back to the product ecosystem. That will bring the utility back to the space. I'll just talk about how the vision actually translates into the product roadmap, and then we'll go back to the token. Yeah. So if you look at decentralized entertainment ecosystem, we plan to have product lines in two verticals. One is streaming and the other is NFTs. And our streaming app is already live. It has close to 6 million registered users. Wow. Currently using Mazzalo coins, which will soon get connected back to XCT ecosystem. Yeah. Right. So Mazzalo ecosystem is yet not connected to XCT. It will get connected soon. Wow. The reason we want to take a more conservative approach to connecting that, or a slower approach to doing that, is because this is one of the largest events in our ecosystem. Okay. And we want to be sure about how to do it, and we want to do it the right way. Yeah. Because we are there's no playbook for a watch and learn model, right? So Xfinite is like the innovator in watch and learn model. Yeah. So we will have the streaming model connected back to XCT on one side, and the other side, we want to do that only once our NFT marketplace is live. So our NFT marketplace is in beta, and we're going to announce a product roadmap and some of the very exciting experiments we'll do there. I'll talk a little bit about future experiments in a bit, but think about streaming and then NFTs. and in future they will be connected to each other and they will interoperate with each other, right? We want to get this mechanism right, and getting that mechanism right means we have to look at token models very similar to how we were looking at probably growing applications, right? We cannot build applications without users. And every feature you launch in an application in a lean model, you actually launch it with users, right? And you don't launch it at one time, you also test it. So this is the A/B testing engineering approach we want to carry to token economics as well. So we want to design all these token mechanisms with our token holders. So in fact, the earliest token holders are the ones who will help us in scaling into this model. And the reason we've launched staking as one of the first native mechanisms to earn more XCT is because we value our earliest token holders, because they need to have skin in the game of the network, as they are one of our earliest contributors. So the first experiment start with staking. We made an experiment on yearly. I think today there are more than 9 million XCT staked into yearly, into XCT pool, which is very exciting. And that's one of the first experiments in staking we've done. Soon we are going to launch a higher level of experiments around staking. It's called XSPO, standing for Xfinite Stake Pool Offering, through which you are going to have more staking pools, time-locked staking pools, basically, to ensure users with higher APYs, to ensure our earliest contributors are actually making more APYs in the earliest stage until we get all these token utilities back into the ecosystem. One, the future of XSPO is not just giving users an opportunity to stake XCT and earn XCT rewards. It will scale to a stage where our users have an opportunity to contribute to bootstrapping liquidity of XCT token across various decentralized exchanges. We actually plan to implement this way faster, but as you're aware, and you've already mentioned about Tinyman hack, it slowed us a little bit down. But that being said, I think the ecosystem comes back with more stronger every time. So we are going to scale this XSPO to a direction where users and our earliest token holders can contribute to bootstrapping liquidity across various decentralized exchanges within Algorand ecosystem and outside of Algorand ecosystem as well, looking at how interoperability comes to Algorand ecosystem, starting with ETH. So this is one exciting mechanism, and XSPO is a very interesting initiative. It's one initiative which brings all staking initiatives mechanisms under one umbrella in Xfinite. If you notice our token economics and distribution on our website, 11.25% are dedicated to staking rewards. So XSPO is like that one mechanism for us to bring all of that under one umbrella. And we can test various different staking experiments here. And again, I can't stress enough on experiments, because I and the team always resonates with this approach that we want to look at token economics the way we've engineered applications and products. We want to scale different mechanisms into it, but we want to A/B test that mechanism at a smaller scale or capacity before we launch it to the entire community.
Awesome. A lot of utility coming. I'm definitely going to stake my tokens. They're just sitting in my Algorand wallet. So after this, I'm going to go ahead and stake all of my tokens. Excited to do that. So we touched on the play to earn model a few times and how it's disrupting the gaming industry and what you guys are doing. It's a first. So are you guys, and I want to touch on your NFT market. Is there any other type of, metaverse or game that you guys are thinking to release to kind of catch this hype? Is the NFT marketplace just going to be for the Algorand blockchain? Is it the first on the Algorand blockchain? Because I haven't seen an NFT market. Can you go into some of those details?
Yeah, so look, I think from an NFT perspective, Algorand has 2 or 3 galleries already, or marketplaces already. So you've got Darkroom, you've got AB2 Gallery, you've got Rand Gallery. So there's a few very popular. I think Bloomverse is coming up. So I think there's a few NFT marketplaces that are doing reasonably well. We will be the only marketplace that allows transactions in XCT, which gets pretty exciting when we start to implement utility-based NFTs that relate to the entertainment ecosystem, right? Because then you can actually link all the products together, and also, through partnerships and across ecosystems. Imagine if you were able to port some of these NFTs into games or into other sort of experiences, right? Whether it's AI-related experiences, VR-related experiences. I think blockchain is just purely a train track on which the metaverse will run. Ultimately, okay. If you've ever used a Snapchat filter or any filter of any kind, then you're already in the metaverse, right? So firstly, I just want to say that. Secondly, I think that Web 3.0 is imminent. It's happening as we speak, and I think that it's really going to be a very, very exciting time over the next few years as companies collaborate with each other, within the Algorand ecosystem and outside the Algorand ecosystem too. When there's decentralized interoperability, and this interoperability is secure, how will that enable us to tie up with a gaming company, a play-to-earn gaming company, which can implement this, or even another ecosystem, right? I think that's when things start to get super exciting, and it'll happen. But Rome wasn't built in a day, and the metaverse won't be built in a day, right? So these are some of the things that we are really, really, really excited about, and we're really working hard towards. So I think one thing that I would want to iterate to the community that you have, which by the way is a pretty strong community, right? Is to be that we're working as a team very hard on some of these developments, and we'll release sneak peeks along the way. I think the one thing that we would love from your community is as we launch some of these interesting mechanisms to decentralize the network even further, we're actually thinking about even decentralizing some roles such as marketing, and how can some people in DEXTools make passive income through XCT by being part of our marketing initiative. I think things will start to get pretty interesting in there. So I think we'll announce some details shortly, but we've got all these things in the works, and literally we've got a 50-member team. They're running an OTT platform, which is powered by blockchain, as well as the token strategy and the blockchain strategy and blockchain tech. So I think we're pretty excited about all these things.
Wow, looking forward to all that. So it's been about 4 months since Xfinite has launched after its IDO. What are some of the things you guys have achieved, and what are some of the bigger things you're looking forward to achieve in the next 3-6 months?
Okay. So I would say some of those things are number one, connecting. The number one priority for us is we've already got a pretty used product, a real product that you can download, feel, go through, and connecting that to the XCT token is the utmost priority. We want to make sure that design is proper, so that's happening simultaneously, and we've been working very hard on that. In fact, a few people in the community have already seen that we have already created an ASA called MZAA. So good on some of the community members who follow us so hard, because they probably found it sooner than some other team members who knew about it. And so that's one thing that we're really focused on. Second thing is XSPO, which is Xfinite Stake Pool offering, where we'll be launching staking pools within our website itself, where people can come on, connect their wallet, and stake on there for some juicy APYs. And then and then you've got the NFT marketplace, which I touched upon. You can visit it, take a look at the beta version. It's being iterated upon every single day. That's going to have thousands of NFTs on there. And we may or may not, cannot confirm, cannot deny, run some experiments where some of the XCT holders might be getting free NFTs, right? That would be something interesting. If you've caught a glimpse of our website, xfinite.io, you'll see that we have a certain advisor on our page by the names of Charles Darby, who actually created. He's a legend. He's actually created. You can Google him. He created Hogwarts from a VFX standpoint for Harry Potter. He's worked on movies like Matrix, Tron, Titanic. Just a whole list. Please go through it and Google it. But he's actually creating some of these beautiful NFTs for us and beautiful art for us. So I think you heard it here first, because it's not announced yet. But yeah, there you go.
Wow, that's big. So I have two questions to end it for you guys. What do you guys think about the future of DeFi? And then what do you guys think about DEXTools as well?
I can take that.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, future of DeFi is I'm a big believer of the ecosystem. So my perspective is always biased. I think we've delivered financial services essentially for a very long time, and that probably worked for the world in a certain way. But I think we're going to see a different transition through DeFi, especially from a financial inclusion point of view, or even access point of view. You can access all these financial services as long as you have access to your internet is a really, really powerful thing. You don't necessarily need to know somebody who can get you access to a certain financial product. You can actually access it yourself with few clicks away on your mobile phone with access to internet. Is a really, really powerful thing. That being said, we're at the earlier stages of DeFi to actually touch masses. The complexity is quite hard for mainstream user today. The composability is great, definitely from an industry standpoint. You're able to talk to different protocols and interoperate with each other. The security risks are high, definitely, if you don't design these things well. It all boils down to community. I'm always a big believer that some of the smartest minds in the world are in crypto, and if all of those minds are put to right use, we'll end up creating systems which have the potential to decentralize every single aspect of our world, and that also includes financial services. So bullish on DeFi, but at the same time being a realist on the risks it actually carries. So the system builders around DeFi kind of have to take that balanced approach, right? So that's my perspective.
So here's what I think about DeFi, right? I often find people saying to me, and these are obviously non-native, crypto enthusiasts, if you like. And so they go up to me and they say, hey, DeFi is so complicated. And I look at them and I say, hey, if you think DeFi is complicated, you should try understanding the banking system, right? Because that is what is complicated. I do think that the future of finance is actually going to get completely disrupted with DeFi, right? And it's happening as we speak. Several big banks are focused on crypto, are setting up these things, because I think that ultimately this kind of goes beyond banking in such a trustless manner that it really appeals to a lot of people. Everything is so automated, everything is so swift from a usability perspective, and kind of pretty transparent, right? So you can kind of optimize, see what's there. In banking, and there are merits to banks being around, right? So banking is still very much a very, very important part of the world today.
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes these things can be quite opaque in banking, and I think decentralizing finance enables so much more and such a richer experience from a user perspective, and the feeling that you can own your own way that you operate is kind of also exhilarating. Appeals to a lot of people, I think. Yeah.
Thank you for the deep answers. What do you guys think about DEXTools? Do you guys use the platform?
Yep. I actually have been using DEXTools for quite some time. In fact, I think I got a message. Earlier today from somebody who sent me a link about DEXTools, and one of the pairs that they were looking at. So no, I think that DEXTools is a fantastic platform. Would love to see how you guys could feature us. I know that we're Algorand, so there might be some
Integration done.
some sort of yeah. But if you could integrate Algorand, would love to see how you could feature us. Would love to be part of the ecosystem. We're native crypto users, so we love it.
Awesome. So thank you guys for your time and answering all the questions. Did you guys have anything you want to add before we head off?
No, I think really look forward to the community support. Please reach out to the council members, the new council, or us directly in the community groups, the moderators. Would love to hear your thoughts. Would love to. If there's any partnerships, anything that you guys think is interesting, anything that you guys think we should be doing better, please feel free to reach out. We're always there. We're always there to listen and implement, what we feel is the right way for the network to scale. So ultimately, what we care about is, not the vagaries of the market at the very moment. So although I love the when questions, but we are looking to get onto more exchanges, top tier exchanges as a next step, build up liquidity into the token, and really be able to scale the network. So be operating in a very seamless way 5 years from now, if you like.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for being so transparent and clearing up all the questions we had. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Wyatt.
Bye.